people that are employing running the way that I like to employ alcohol, perhaps too much, and perhaps not entirely for the right reasons. They might be running away from their feelings, and I'm trying to run into mine. Remember, like 15 episodes ago, when we talked about how that's actually what it is. This is what it is. The resiliency to be responsible, to be strong enough to weather something that is best interacted with in a weathering capacity, and also being able to be mobile enough to pivot if it turns out the thing no longer is best weathered and ought to be pivoted, ought to be juked or attacked or negotiated with or whatever. Being that guy, the hardest possible person to be in the world, the person that runs when they need to run, eats when they need to eat, and when it's best, to have that sense, to develop that keen cutting edge that says, oh yeah, if I eat those beans right now with some salt, there's a ham hock in there, we'll get us some flavor, then tomorrow's marathon is going to be amazing. And that's what I want because that marathon is my pizza ninja warrior. Being that guy, aspiring, bringing that version of yourself into the world through practice is maddening. And as I was about to bring up before I digressed out of it like I sometimes do, it means acknowledging, yes, you can run to feelings and you can run away from feelings. It all looks like running at low proficiency when you're at the drunk wielding the stool. But the fact of the matter is maddening. The fact of the matter that if you want to articulate with it, interact with it responsibly, you have to take this as truth to some degree, is that the constant battle or the constant conversation of the human life is that of pivot, double down, take a step back, attack, all as working solutions, never wed to one strategy. That, my friends, is the madness. Because the doubling down always and often, and hard and with everything you got, if you're committed, it's so much cold comfort. And I love comfort in all its forms. But I've noticed that all of the comforts that I have been wed to have slowly, I'm going to misuse this word, maybe, they've all become cloying. Do you understand that word? I think that I understand it. The way that I use it, it means sickly sweet. A false idol. This is not tea, this is hot leaf juice. And that's the conversation. That's the madness. That addles my tiny Twitter-pated brain. Trying ever harder to relax enough to do what my system naturally knows how to do and yearns to do, and that is fall in love with life. I am a lover. And when it comes to me versus me, I'm a fighter too. But we're slowly relaxing, figuring out how not to be petrified by the hero's dilemma. You notice these people. I keep thinking about Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. I've been thinking about him for like 3 or 4 minutes now. Because it's so entertaining to watch that show, Firefly. And this show, if it has a main character, it's probably him. The The show seems to address him more than it does anybody else. Anyway, you kind of seem to follow Mal a bit more than everybody else. Captain Malcolm Reynolds. He's the hero. He's fun to watch. And you think about how cool he is when he's cool. You think about how hilarious his pratfalls are when he falls behind or messes up. How he improvises. You talk about these people with these working solutions and these strategic minds. Just problem solving and cracking jokes while they're doing it. You're talking about Malcolm Reynolds. I mean, powerful. You want to model your behavior after these rogues, these mavericks, who can pivot on a dime and turn a failing plan into a winning plan just because they know the thing, or they know the person that knows the thing, or they speak the words to the people who know the things, or they barter when it's time to barter, or they fight only the very second that it occurs to them that negotiations have completely run dry, and that in this microsecond beginning the fight means winning the battle, even though even a second ago it looked like negotiating was the way to go. And who wants to fight? Who wants to take a fucking knuckle to the face? Or 5? Sometimes that's the only way through. Or sometimes that's the way to be in integrity with yourself and move forward. That's exhausting. Me speaking those words, I just feel the fatigue of it. The fatigue of that kind of practice. That's what they don't tell you about the montages. You know about Dragon Ball? And the hyperbolic time chamber? Those montages make you think of fatigue. But even more so, actually the hyperbolic time chamber was an item, was a, intellectual concept, artistic thing, whatever. Well, the thing that it was actually didn't occur in Dragon Ball. It occurred in Dragon Ball Z. Ooh, there's a rainbow halo around my shadow. Can you see that? Let's see if it's still there on the other side of the tree silhouette. It is a little bit. Oh, damn, but I can barely see it. Damn, it was really clear for a second. That was nuts. Think about the iconography of that. Holy shit. That was awesome. You probably didn't see that. Damn you, phone. I gotta get a better camera. Oh, man. Well, if it's important, you'll see it at some point. Is it gone? It's gone. Oh, mother of pearl. That was so cool. The oil in the road. The oil in the road was refracting the light in such a way that it looked like there was a wheel, like a rainbow, but an entire, not a bow, a rain circle. The whole thing, a rainbow circle. What do you call a rainbow that's a complete circle? Anyway, it haloed my head. Sorry, it haloed the head of my shadow. I've seen similar things before, but not just like that. That was... I don't care if that's oil on the gravel that made that happen. That was truly something. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Fatigue. Hero fatigue. Yeah. Talk about how Mal's a leader because he's always ready to talk, fight, fuck, jump, whatever he needs to do. And of course, he's not perfect. Takes a fair number of bruises. He loses part of his ear at some point. Yeah, he gets mollywopped a few times. But in Dragon Ball, which is a series that occurs before Dragon Ball Z, it occurred first, in fact. It was the first IP that Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT and all those other ones followed. But the original Dragon Ball didn't have the hyperbolic time chamber in it, but it did have montages. And when I think about hero fatigue, I often think of that moment in Dragon Ball after Goku, that's the main character, Goku, and his, I guess, friend, they certainly became friends later, little tiny boy, Krillin, little tiny bald boy with no nose that nobody talks about, Krillin, those two guys, as tiny, tiny children, they found Master Roshi, and they wanted to learn martial arts, because Master Roshi could shoot the beams and was the greatest of all time, and Master Roshi took them under his wing and had them work. And I just have this image in my head of one of those things in the montage, which was that Goku and Krillin were tasked with tilling, plowing, whatever the thing is when you intentionally dig a trough into farmland into which you're going to plant seeds and grow crops. Tilling, plowing. But they didn't have tools. They weren't given tools. They used their hands. So they squatted down, deep squat style, and dog pawed their way backwards across this farm in order to work the earth and churn the earth and dig out the troughs so the farmers could plant the seeds with their bare hands. And I know it's a cartoon, but I had this moment of connection when I was like, man, their fingers would literally be worked to the bone in seconds if they were just regular old people. But then again, I know people like that. Yeah. You know, those guys that cut trees down with their elbows. I don't care if the trees are really, really soft-wooded. Elbowing a tree to death. And chopping bricks with their hands and shit. These people give me the sense that I got when I watched Goku and Krillin doggy pawing this farmland. And then, of course, the montage continued and they got better at it. And they were faster. And the first time Krillin was talking, Krillin said, he said, "Oh my God, my nails are completely filed off." But of course, it's a poorly rendered 90s cartoon, so you didn't see any of that. What you saw was a montage. But when I thought about that, I thought, yep, it would take something like that to really be a warrior. Because it would take that grinding. It would take that... It just grinds you. Anytime that I get past phase 2 of competence with anything, I feel ground up and spat out like yesterday's burgers. And I love burgers, goddammit. When life hands you burgers, get grinding, I guess. Or when life grinds you, make burgers. There's a parable in there somewhere, or a proverb, or a cute statement to carve into your toilet seat. Or get a overly expensive, poorly done tattoo representing. Get grinding. What's phase 2 of competency? I can tell you. We're currently on phase 2 of competency when it comes to running. Before I ever ran a marathon, I thought maybe it's something that anybody could do, and anybody could. If the tiger was behind them, probably. If the tiger was injured and couldn't quite reach them, and you had, you had that ability to just take advantage of your functional sweat glands and all that. What I'm saying is that being the hero is a grind. And being on the grind means that you've broached level 2 of confidence, or of competence, probably. Level 1 is you're so bad, you don't even know how bad you are. That's me with most things. But then I'll get practicing a little bit, and now we're running and we're at level 2, which is which is, I am now aware of how bad I am. I'm aware of the length of the vast expanse. There is a Grand Canyon of work between me and the end game I keep talking about. The end game can probably be done at phase 3, which is conscious competence. If you put everything you have into it, you can be really good at it. And of course, where it would be nice to be, and where I would like to be able to get, before I'm an old grizzly man, preferably, when it comes to running, at the end game, is the 4th level, which is unconscious competence, which means I don't have to think about it. It just goes. It just runs itself. I don't have to think about it. I can sleep through a marathon. Find myself at the end of 5 hours, look back and say, damn, well, maybe I'll just go another 5. Fuck it. Let's Forrest Gump this bitch. Expectations are low, morale is high. It is unlikely, in my mind as I am now, to broach that level in the time that I would like to complete this podcast in. But who knows? I'm telling myself a story. Just like my right hip is telling me a story. And I can listen or not. Somebody, I think that was recently, looked at David Goggins' knees. Some doctor looked at David Goggins' knees before a run that Goggins was planning. It was like a super marathon or something. The doctor was like, here are 13 things that say you can't do this. He had tears in the cartilage. He had like ulcers or something. He had cysts in his knees. He had ruptures. He had old injuries. He had inflammation. Shouldn't be able to walk. Shouldn't be ambulatory, but despite what the knees were saying, David has, as a being, as a system, his big story. And in that story, he's practiced ceasing subscription to the stories of others. So, if it's cysts that he's running on, and ruptured scars and breaks in cartilage, then it's still something to run on. It's Dan Millman and his, whatever it is, 27 femoral fragments pinned to his hip with a steel rod or titanium rod or whatever it is. Well, we talked a big game, didn't we? But now it's time to open the arms to breakfast and the rest of the day. I'm thinking eggs on toast with a block of cheese. I don't know, what are you having? I like me a sharp cheddar. That's what we're doing. Oh. Oh. Hey, you know what else I can tell you? The split squats are getting better because I began them at level 1. Unconscious incompetence. I was not aware of how good or bad or whatever I was. at split squats, and now we're better at them. Anywho, have a good day.